Welcome to the channel. This is Jason the Nice One. Today I am going to give you my top 10 overrated horror movies. These are in no particular order. I know some of these films will cause controversy, particularly the films that have a huge fan base, but please remember that these are my choices and my opinions. It's all subjective. It's okay if you disagree with some of my choices. You may have a completely different list. That's okay too. That's what makes this community such a great place. Diversity. Well, let's get into it, shall we? At number 10, we have Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. This has to be one of the most irritating horror films of my lifetime. I really loved the concept and was looking forward to seeing it, but once I got into the film, every single character was so annoying. I stopped caring after the first half an hour. It was really annoying, too. I wanted to enjoy this film, but couldn't. It was so hyped up and one of the most popular films of 2022. But for me, I just wanted to pull my hair out. At number 9, we have Cabin Fever. This was such a popular film of 2003, but when I finally sat down and watched it, I was appalled and irritated at the apparent and obvious reimagining of the OG Night of the Living Dead. Also, this film was so disgusting. I am not a fan of body horror whatsoever, and this film took it to the extremes. I didn't care about any one of these characters. They were all such idiots and so self-centered. None of them would listen to the warnings they were given. I could have cared for these characters and overlooked the body horror, but it was too much. At number 8, we have Eden Lake. This is a very popular film amongst horror fans in the community, and when it was released in 2008, it grossed $3,984,669 with a $7,321 budget, which isn't bad, but I just couldn't handle how dreary and depressing this film was. I know sometimes horror films will take you down a depressing and bleak road, but with this one, the villains, including their parents, were all scumbags. There weren't any redeeming qualities about anyone in this film. When the ending came to our two protagonists, it was so horrible, and what happened to our terrific final girl was too much for me to handle. At least with films such as The Children, the reason behind the children being the villains was explainable, and you understood that they were victims just as much as the adults in the film. So by the end, I could handle the bleak ending way better than I could with the ending of Eden Lake. At number 7, we have Lake Mungo. This is another popular film amongst horror fans in the community, but it doesn't in any way deliver on its hype as one of the scariest horror films ever made. This was such a boring film. I found the story of our young protagonist interesting, moving, and sad, but I was expecting more because of all the hype. A film that was a real letdown for me. At number 6, we have Puppet Master, one of the most hyped and popular films in the genre. I have heard so much about this film over the years that I finally sat down to watch this. I couldn't believe how silly and stupid this film was. I can understand horror comedy, in fact I love the subgenre, but this was so irritating. Nails on a chalkboard by the second act. The eroticism as well got so creepy that I was ready to shut it off, but I wanted to give it a chance. I was so let down by this obnoxious piece of filmmaking. At number 5, we have Terrifier 2. What a horrible mess. This was touted as one of the most groundbreaking horror films in years, and the main villain was going places no other villain had gone before. It's very popular and has a huge fan base, as well as being a real box office success. None of that matters to me. This was such a disgusting film. No character development, just let's see how much we can push the gore button and how far we can go with this. I loathe horror films like this. This is a film that gives fuel to those out there that hate the horror genre entire. Everyone who dislikes this awesome genre uses films like this to pigeonhole the genre and to not give the genre any respect. Films like this, in my humble opinion, hurt the genre instead of helping it, particularly in bringing in new audiences to the genre. No matter how good of an artist David Howard Thornton is, he cannot rise above the trashy material, and in my humble opinion, will never rise to the horror icon level of Freddy, Jason, Michael, and Ghostface. At number 4, we have The Babadook. This was one of the most recommended films of 2014. Everyone said it was a must-see. Well, here we are 9 years later, and I featured it as one of my first-time watches for JTN's Halloween Celebration 2023, and I was extremely let down. I loved the film in general. The cast was very good. I loved how the writer used metaphor to deal with loss, grief, and parental-child relationships, but it's been done before, and there was no major ground broken here. I will never watch it again, and that's why it makes my list. At number 3, we have The Blair Witch Project. I remember when this movie came out in 1999, July to be exact, and all the hoopla over it. It was the first mainstream and successful found footage horror film to be released worldwide, and so I wanted to see what the excitement was all about. What I got instead was a female protagonist who needed to study a dictionary badly instead of spouting F-bombs throughout the entire film endlessly, and her 2 male counterparts who I really ended up not caring for. The camera work was dizzying, it made me sick to my stomach, and in the end I really didn't care what happened to these characters. And then when it was revealed that it was a hoax, a PR stunt, that made me even more angry. One of the worst overrated movies I have ever seen. At number 2, we have You're Next. I remember when this came out in 2013, everyone was saying it was so terrifying that it was groundbreaking cinema. When I finally got around to seeing it, I couldn't believe it. It was another reimagining of The Last House on the Left, and even more so, The Strangers. In this film, I didn't care about any of these characters. When the secrets were revealed about 30 minutes into the film, I couldn't believe my eyes. The one character having relations with his girlfriend on top of his mother's dead corpse. Disgusting. It was all so stomach-churning that I stopped caring from that point on until the very end of the film. A waste of my time and money. At number 1, we have The Fly, 1986. This is one of the most highly popular horror films of all time. For me, nothing more than disgusting body horror that added nothing to the story, and in my humble opinion, ruined the well-written story of the 2 main protagonists. I cared about these 2 characters, but to sit through all the body horror and graphic gore was too much for me, and it was distracted too much, in my humble opinion, from the actual story. I was so highly disappointed in this very overhyped film that when I finally saw it, it was such a letdown for me. I understand violence in a horror film, but not over-the-top violence. I just can't handle it. Well, that is my list. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to hit the like button, as well as subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, right now, all Patreon memberships are being donated to my dear friend Kyle from Fletz Movies and Pop Culture 13. You will see a link in the description section of this video. Kyle is one of my collaborators on a new channel he, Katie from Poppin' the Popcorn, and I are working on. K&K and J Reviews, coming soon when Kyle has recovered from 2 operations he had to undergo this past week. He is having difficulties right now, and I wanted to help him out to cover expenses while he is out of work, recovering from his surgeries. Any help would be great. Thank you so much for watching this video. Until next time, please remember, you are enough. You are more than enough. It's amazing how enough you really are. And remember, you are of infinite worth. This world needs you in it. And don't ever let the foolishness out there steal your bliss. Until next time, this is Jason the Nice One. Talk with you soon. Peace.